everybody. Sorry that I haven't done any posts lately or that I haven't made any videos, but it's been a really long year. There have been some really great things, there have been some really bad things. It's been very full. I feel like it's been a really rough year pain-wise. Every year just seems to get a little bit worse, but this year I seem to have been dealing with a lot more pain progressively, even as the year has gone on. Some good things, I got engaged. That was amazing and still is amazing, and I'm really excited. My future wife is so wonderful, and it's so nice to finally have found somebody that is, as far as having a chronic illness, is willing to stand by my side and support me and love me through the goods and the bads, and there's a lot of bads, and just be a wonderful partner, and also take on the role of caretaker. So that's been really good. Let's see, I moved across the country last year to be with her, and that's afforded me some really awesome opportunities. It's also been rather difficult on other fronts. I've had to find a bunch of new doctors, which has been really trying. It's been a year of trying to find a new medical team, and finally I'm actually getting some stuff in place here, which is really fantastic. I was given the opportunity of a lifetime to attend the 2012 EDNF EDS Learning Conference this year, which just happened to be close enough that I was able to drive. So it was in Cincinnati, and as you all know, I typed up a bunch of notes from that and got them out there for you guys. Anyone that wasn't able to go, or even those that were able to go, just hopefully that was a big help to you. Unfortunately for me, in typing all of those notes up, I really aggravated my tendonitis in my elbow, which I guess it's been several months, and I am not able to do anything with my arm, really. It's in a tremendous amount of pain, which is why I haven't written any posts. I have so many things I want to tell you guys. I may turn to video for some of them, but even video requires me to do editing and write some stuff to get the posts up on the blog, so it's going to take me some time, but that's been really, really rough on me, because not only have I been in a lot of pain with everything that I deal with, that my outlet seems to be keeping in touch with my friends. A lot of them are online, and my family, and my baby brother, who is currently serving in Afghanistan in the Army. And I haven't been able to do any of that because I haven't been able to do anything as far as typing goes. I do know that people have been recommending Dragon or another service like that. I'm going to be looking into that. It's just money always is tough, and those cost money, so we'll see. That may make it a little easier for me to keep up with you guys. What else? I guess big things. I was able to visit Dr. Brad Tinkle, and he pointed me in some good directions. I, through some friends, was able to get a fantastic primary care doctor. I just started seeing him, and I think he's going to be a real helpful person in getting me situated and on a better path. I was off of pain meds for almost a year because I couldn't get them here in the state of Ohio. It's been a nightmare, which that'll be another blog post. but I am back on them, and they are helping a bit keep everything at least more manageable, so that's good. This post, I really want to focus on cervical instability. In one of the doctor's presentations that I went to at the ADNF EDS Learning Conference this summer, which, again, I need to do a shout out. A really wonderful woman gave me tickets and hotel room to go to the conference. I would not have been able to go otherwise, and from that I am on an entirely new journey, finding hope for some of the issues that I deal with, and I was able to get you guys all that information. So thank you so much to that wonderful person that donated those to me. It really, really means the world to me, and it was life-changing. In addition, it was great being able to hang out with a bunch of EDSers and POTSIs, and just, people that understand what you're going through, that truly, truly understand it. And hanging out with a bunch of my friends, which is always welcome and enjoyable. So anyway, one of the doctors that presented was Dr. Durrani. And when I wrote up notes on the conference, I did mention him. If you go to the conference notes on the blog, there's a part of it is, let's see, it's titled Neck and Spine, Dr. Atiq Durrani. And he's with CAST. They're in Cincinnati, so it takes me about 3 hours to get down there. Happens to be really close, and so far the insurance I'm currently on, they're a provider. So again, moving to Ohio has really been, it's just been a miracle for me as far as getting me around some of the best doctors that specialize in treating EDS patients. Dr. Durrani did a presentation. I'm just going to kind of go through the very brief blurb that I wrote on the presentation. He focused on cervical instability in the EDS population. I wasn't able to take notes. I was hurting really bad at that point. I was also so moved during that presentation that I was in tears. My good friend held my hand through it because it was kind of like somebody was speaking directly to me, and there were a room full of people there, and a bunch of other people that probably felt the same way, but I had never really heard of anybody putting all of these things together and calling them something and maybe having a possible treatment for them. So he focused on craniocervical instability, which would be your skull and going into your C1, which is your very first vertebra, instability there, and then C1-C2 instability, which is your very first vertebra and then your second, and instability there. And he feels pretty much every EDS patient has cervical instability of some sort. Most other doctors don't even relate the two together. They don't think that EDS patients have cervical instability, or that cervical instability might be related to EDS. He's trying to say that if you have EDS, get looked at. It might, and it may not, but it may be a cause of some of the symptoms that you have. Symptoms of C1-C2 instability, as far as Dr. Durrani says, are occipital headaches, and he refers to these as headaches that start from the base of the skull and move forward toward the eyes, sometimes causing spots in light sensitivity, pain behind the eyes, can affect vision, and they're often diagnosed as migraines. Well, I've had migraines, or what's been called migraines, since I was in middle school. They've been terrible, and I've taken different drugs for them. I was actually at UCLA doing a migraine study back in probably around 2000. He's saying that, I mean, people can still get migraines, but that in his experience, if you have C1-C2 instability, you probably get occipital headaches. So they would really be the headaches that start out at the base and kind of move forward. I have those. I have them often, and they're horrible. And I take migraine medicine for them. I do my Amitrex injections, and sometimes it helps, but that's one of the symptoms. Neck pain. I've had severe neck pain my entire life. Passing out at the extremes of lateral rotation. So when you turn your neck really far to one side or the other, sometimes people with this instability will pass out. I can pass out from POTS, but I don't actually have that. It's the only one of the symptoms that I don't have. Choking sensations, so sometimes feeling like you're going to choke, or like there's something in your throat, a lump in your throat, having a hard time swallowing. Base of skull tenderness. This one really got me. He said that there's a pointing sign. He said if you could take and point to one part of your body that is the most painful and you're an EDS patient, obviously, if you've dislocated your shoulder or subluxated your knee, you're going to have acute pain there. But I always have pain, always, in my flank, which you guys know, and he's actually trying to help me figure out flank pain too. But at the base of my neck, and he said there's a pointing sign. You can take your finger and point somewhere on your body, and that would be the spot of the most pain. Well, the right side of my body, right at the base of my skull, there's a spot. It's so tender always. The pain never goes away. The other side, not so much. I mean, I've got neck pain and stuff, but that right side, there's just this horrible pain always. And it's so tender, so tender. So that's the base of the skull tenderness. And then jaw pain, which sometimes is diagnosed as TMJ or referred pain from headaches. So anything dealing with the jaw. All of this, one more thing. Slurred speech or stutter. I don't have a traditional stutter, but a lot of times, bothersome to me that I notice it. I will go to say a word, and my memory is horrible, so sometimes I just don't know the word that I'm trying to say. But other times I'll go to say a word, I'll say the word book, for instance, and I can't get the word out. I'll go book, and it doesn't make any sense in my head. I know the word, I know how to form the word. I don't have a typical stutter, but I have these issues. And when I talked to him, he said, oh yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one of the things that I see with patients with C1-C2 instability. So, those are some of the causes. And then in addition to that, if you're unstable there, or unstable in your neck, so many other things can happen. You could be pinching on your spinal cord. Which would cause a lot of these symptoms. You can dislocate things and dislodge things extremely easily. I mean, you think if your neck is not stable, and more than just a little unstable, if your neck is really not stable, that's what's holding your head up, which is also keeping your spinal column and your spinal cord protected. And a million things could be caused from that being unstable. So to me, when I heard him speak and when I heard him say all of these symptoms, I was like, that's it. I have to find a doctor that will take a look at me. Well, I looked into him, and he was on my insurance. Now, he is one of the few doctors that knows about EDS patients and the link with cervical instability. He's also one of the only ones that seems to want to touch patients with EDS because we're so fragile. he also has done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these surgeries, and I don't like to trust somebody that's only done, a couple of surgeries. And he said most spine doctors in their entire lives might do one or two C1-C2 fusions, or occipital to C1-C2, C2-C3, any of those. Like, it's very, very, it's a very rare surgery that they'll do. It's dangerous. It's around your spinal cord. And they cut into the back of your head and your neck and the base of your skull area. I mean, one wrong thing and death is a side, you could die. So knowing that he has done so many of these procedures made me a lot more comfortable when I made the decision to go see him. And if anything were to come of my appointments with him, I wanted to be able to trust the doctor that I saw, and I trust him, especially after that presentation. Again, I did link on that blog post to a video that basically is the same exact presentation that he gave. It's a Vimeo video, and I would highly recommend it if you feel like you might have any bit of C1-C2 instability or craniocervical instability. Watch the video. It's 45 minutes long. It's probably going to be as long as the video that I'm making right now because there's so much information that I want to pack into this. So worth it though. Definitely worth it. So what he said is that typically when you have all this neck pain or any of these headaches or anything, that the doctors like to do an MRI or a CAT scan or both, and they do a static one, which means you're just standing still or sitting still, laying still, whatever, and they don't get to see what it looks like when you move your head. And so when it comes back, the reports say, oh, your spine is fine. Your cervical spine is completely fine, because they're not seeing how it is when you actually turn your head. And Dr. Durrani refers to his EDS patients as owls, because, we can turn our head kind of all the way around like an owl would do. And that is where you would see the instability, not in a static MRI. So he does an MRI with flexion and extension. And in the MRI, and a 3D CAT scan, which is this really awesome CAT scan that actually takes 3D pictures and shows like 3D images of your CAT scan. And I'll show you mine in just a second. When they do those, even the radiologists that read the reports said that there was nothing wrong with me still. It took Dr. Durrani actually reading the reports himself, reading the imaging himself and looking at it and pointing it all out to me and explaining it to me to fully comprehend, what was going on with my spine. And the radiologists don't even see it. They did see some instability, but a standard MRI or CAT scan isn't going to show that. So it's really important that if you have a doctor that's willing, a neurologist or an ortho, anyone that's willing to take a look at you, or if you can get out to see Dr. Durrani or Dr. Henderson, he's the other one that's just fantastic. He's in Maryland, Dr. Henderson. That they do the right kind of imaging. You want the 3D CAT scan, and you want the MRI with flexion and extension of your cervical spine. Okay, so I went to the appointment with him, the first appointment. He explained everything to me. I've already watched his video. I already saw his presentation. I already knew what to expect with all of it. He sent me out for the imaging. So I took a trip down to Cincinnati again, and I did all the imaging. And I got CDs from the imaging, took them with me directly to Dr. Durrani's office, popped them in his computer, and right then and there he was able to tell me what was going on with my neck. And it confirmed what I've been thinking my entire life, that something was really wrong with my neck. One of my friends who actually had this surgery done a year or so ago, maybe now, she had it done because she was reading one of my blog posts and said, oh my gosh, you made a comment about when you flipped your head over and put your towel on your head that you dislocated something in your neck. And that's exactly what I go through. And so we were talking, and we both said, well, yeah, it kind of feels like our head is going to fall off. Like our head is not stable. And that's the term that we used, was that it feels like our head is going to fall off. Well, Dr. Durrani confirmed that my head is about to fall off. He doesn't know why I haven't had any more issues than I have already had, because he told me that I have one of the most unstable necks that he has ever seen. And we joked, and he said he's going to be using my imaging for slides for his next presentation. I don't know if that's true or not, but he was completely shocked to see my images in the fact that my neck is so unstable, but not shocked in the fact that I'm an EDSer and I have C1-C2 instability. And he's seeing that with every EDS patient that he sees. Luckily, the imaging showed that I do not have the occiput instability, so the base of my skull to my C1 is fine. It's fine as far as it doesn't need any surgery. It's a tiny bit unstable, but nothing that would require surgery. It's just that everybody has a bit of instability. I mean, you turn your head and things move a little bit, no big deal. My issue, and I was diagnosed with C1-C2 instability. And mine is so bad that he looked at the images once and said, here is my game plan for you. I'm not putting you in a neck brace, and we're not gonna just see how it goes. We're not doing anything. My only recommendation and the only thing I will do for you is get you booked into surgery now, because it's so bad. I was kind of shocked by that. I was expecting for him to say, okay, yeah, you've got some instability. And then I could deal with coming to terms with what it was that I wanted to do. After seeing the imaging and after talking to him, I am on board, and I am having a C1-C2 fusion, which is going to hopefully correct the instability and hopefully will relieve some of the symptoms that I have been having for this. It's not going to fix my EDS, it's not going to fix any of the other joints, but hopefully it will relieve a lot of the symptoms that I just mentioned. Even just mildly relieve them would be fantastic. Also, it would be fantastic to walk around and not feel like my head is going to fall off. It would be great to be able to bend down and pick things up and not have things, completely come out, and it'd be great to not have to wear a neck brace all the time. It'd be great to not roll over in my sleep and have things pop out of place. With the bending over part, I have to be careful with the POTS, and of course, if anything else is going on, that's another issue, but it'd be great to have that fixed. It's a very major surgery. It's a bit scary, or actually it's a lot scary. But let me explain to you what exactly is going on with my neck. I will show you my images, and feel free to leave any questions below on the post. I don't know when I'll be able to get back to you. Unfortunately, again, this is going to take everything I've got in my arm just to show you these images. But hopefully this will get you on the right path if you think that you might have something like this as well. Okay, so the best way, I was trying to figure out what the best way to show you what I mean by C1-C2 instability. And I'm going to go with this. I've got several different things on the table right now, and we're just going to go with the thread. So picture your skull up here. So base of your skull here, your occiput here. Orange thread is your C1. Yellow thread is your C2. Blue thread is your C3. Oh, and actually, if I go down a little bit further, I also have a herniated disc, 2 herniated discs. My disc 5 and disc 6, the disc between 5 and 6 and the disc between 6 and 7, those discs are herniated. So I'll be having the surgery. We will see if it helps, and maybe it will take the pressure off of those discs and I won't need anything else done, or we may have to go back and do more surgery for those. Okay, so when you move your neck, and you're looking at the front of my spine, so pretend that this is how my spine is. If I were to turn my neck to the right, you can see the thread turns a little bit, and nothing, your spine needs to rotate a little bit. So each of your vertebrae are going to rotate just a little bit. If that makes any sense. They are not going to remain, your spine is not going to stay completely static as you move to the side. Everything's going to rotate just a little bit, and that's how you're going to move your neck to the side. But you don't want it to rotate so much so that each vertebra is barely sitting on top of the other one. I don't have any issue with my C3 right now, so I'm going to take away the C3. Orange, C1. Yellow, C2. I'll come a little bit closer. So, when I move my neck, see if I can get that. It's not going to get, okay, so when I move my neck to the right, my C1 goes like this and comes all the way off and barely sits on my C2. So when you see the imaging, you'll see that this part is sticking out, and it shouldn't be, and this part, the top of it, is completely uncovered. And that would be instability. When I go to the other side, same thing. Instead of just going like this, it goes all the way off, and this is sticking out where it shouldn't be, and this side right here is completely uncovered. So my C1, which is holding my head on, well, my occiput is, and then my C1 connected to it, which is basically holding my head on, is barely holding anything on because it's barely connected when I turn my head. So I hope that makes sense. And then when I actually show you my imaging, hopefully that will clear it up as well. So I'm going to use Zygote Body, and hopefully, I hope that you guys can see this on your screen. Zygotebody.com is fantastic. It used to be, I think it was Google Body before. You can see the spine, and you can see your cervical spine right here, and this up top right here, that's your C1, and let's see, that right there is your C1, and then that below it is your C2. I don't know if you can see that on your screen. C1, C2. The imaging that I'm going to show you is when you turn around and you look at it from the front. I can't show you the front because if I were to turn this all the way around, it's blocked by the front of your skull. But I want you to have an idea of what it is that we're looking at when I show you my images. This right here is the C1. This right here is the C2. So we're going to look at the front of the C1 and the C2. And they should remain completely on top of each other, and then move just slightly as you turn your head to the side. Anything over, the way they determine the numbers is anything over 75% uncovered C2, when you turn your head, if your C1 turns so much that it uncovers your C2 over 75%, then you have C1-C2 instability. When my C1 moves and shows the uncovered part of my C2, there's 91% of it showing. So only 9% of my C1 is sitting where it should be on top of my C2. Yeah, I think I said that right. So anyway, 91% is my number of uncoverage of my C2. That's a lot, which is why Dr. Durrani was just like, wow, that is a crazy wicked number, and you have one of the most crazy, numbers for C1-C2 instability. So 91%. Yeah, when he said that, I kind of freaked out a little bit. All right, so now that you've seen this, this is what a normal spine would look like. I'm gonna take you to what my actual neck looks like. So here is my neck. Let's see. I hope you guys can see this. My neck in the neutral position. As you can see, you're looking at my neck from the front, so straight on, and not from the back. You're actually looking at my neck from the front. And so I have curvature to my neck. Instead of it being straight up and down, it curves a bit. I really want you guys to see this better. Let me see if I can adjust this. Okay. I think you guys can see that better. All right, so that is my neck, just neutral. When I turn my head to the right, as you can see, when I turn my head to the right, so this right here would be the front of my neck, and this would be the back of my neck. So I'm turning my head to the right. This right here is my C2. This is my C1. This is the front of my C1. This is the side of my C2. And this right here is sticking out because it's coming all the way over from the other side, and it shouldn't be. This right here is the uncovered part. This part right here should be covered by this, because this should not be tilting this way as much. So right here, this part right here is the part that should be completely covered. Well, not completely, but covered a lot more. And anything over 75% uncovered is C1-C2 instability. That right there is 91% uncovered. And again, this should not be sticking out like this. So when you look at it from another angle, let's see. Here's another picture. This is it turned a bit again. This is my neck turned even more. You can see it's doing it again. This right here is uncovered, this part right here. And it shouldn't be. Not like that. And this should not be sticking out. This needs to be covered, and this needs to go back over to the other side. This right here should be covering this. So if that makes any sense, this part needs to be covering this. It needs to be that way, but it's not. And the next slide. This is looking at my neck from the back. You can see this right here, it is going forward and it shouldn't be. This is sticking out, this is sticking forward way too much. So it's harder to see from the back. It's easier to see the instability when you're looking at it from the front. And that's when I turn my head to the right. And when I turn my head to the left, it's the same thing. I have pretty much the same amount of instability, the same amount of uncovered portion. Let's see. Let me scoot this over. As you can see on this one, this right here should be covered by this. This should be coming forward more and covering this, and this should be back on the other side and not sticking out. So this is uncovered and this is sticking out, and it shouldn't be. Again, next slide shows the same thing, but my head's turned a little bit further, and you can really see this part right here sticking out. This is sticking out and it shouldn't be. And this, you can tell, is pretty much all the way uncovered. 9% of it is what's covered, that's it. And then looking at it from the back, the same thing. It's a little more difficult to show you, but this right here is sticking out, and it shouldn't be. It should be back more, and this should be back the other way. And then just to show you the herniated discs, you can see on this that these discs, this is my spinal cord right here, and the discs are basically pushing into my spinal cord. You can see there's barely any white line right there. That white line is a space that needs to be there. That's your spinal cavity, and then your spinal cord goes down in it, and these are pushing, this one's pushing in really close to my spinal cord. So they're pushing out of my spinal cord a bit. Let's see, next slide, same thing. Pushing in. Next slide. This one is, I'm sorry. So these first ones, I'm bending my head forward on these images, the ones I just showed you. And then this is me with my head completely straight. So this is the neutral position. And in neutral, I have a little bit more space, but you can still see that those discs are bulging. So those are herniated discs. And let's see if I can get a closer picture so you can see. It's these two discs, and they're herniated. So they're not pressing so much on my spinal cord when I'm at the neutral position. And then when I bend my head back, again, same thing. You can see that they're herniated. They're not pushing on my spinal cord as much, but they're definitely going into my spinal cavity. So that could be causing me some pain too, and some referred pain. The worst, obviously, of those pictures is where I'm bending forward and bending my head down, and you can see that that's pretty much right there on my spinal cord. Okay, so what does all that mean? Look at my little Lulu. That's my Raina Lucia. Okay, Let me get this back. All right. Okay. So the fix for this, I will post some pictures. But basically what they're going to do is they're going to turn me around. They're going to lift my hair up. And I'm so sad because I love my dreadlocks so much. And they're going to cut a big chunk of them out. So they're going to remove all that hair. Probably even more than that. And then they're going to make an incision. They're going to make an incision down and spread open my neck. And the incision's going to go partly on my skull, above my, on my actual head. So the incision's going to be on my head, down to my neck. Big incision, and they're going to spread my tissue apart. They're going to take metal brackets, and they're going to put a metal bracket on my C1 and connect it to my C2, and a metal bracket on my C1 on this side and connect it to my C2. They're going to drill put a screw, drill a screw in and in and in and in. So I'm going to have 4 screws, 2 brackets, 4 screws. So one on each side, and the screws will be going, from the back toward the front of me. And that's going to hold my C1 to my C2, so that when I turn my head, it's going to be weird to get used to because I'm not going to be able to turn my head as much as I'm used to. I mean, I can turn my head quite far, but from what they say, I'm going to be able to turn my head just as much as a normal person. It's just going to be weird for me because I'm so used to turning my head more than a normal person. The herniated discs, like I said, they're going to do the C1-C2 fusion, and they're going to see how that works. If that helps, maybe it will take some of the pressure off of my neck right there, and I won't need to go in and have any additional surgeries. Otherwise, I will need to go have either they'll deal with the herniated discs or they'll do more fusions lower. So we'll see where that's going to go. And then he's also going to help me with my flank. We did more MRIs, my thoracic spine and my lumbar spine, so my middle back, my lower back, they seem to be fine. He's not, again, like every other doctor, he's not really sure where the pain's coming from, but he's going to try doing some steroid injections between T11 and T12 and T12 and L1. And I'm going to get those done. I'm going to get injections there this month, and then in October, and then a week later I'm going to go get more injections in the same spot. And we'll just see how they do, and maybe they'll help, maybe they won't. They're going to be the epidural injections, and they're different than anything else I've ever had done. I've had nerve blocks and trigger point injections, and then I did the trial for the spinal cord stimulator. But I've had all of those done in different areas. The spinal cord stimulator was in my spinal cord, obviously, my spinal column. But hopefully that will help. Who knows? We'll see. The quickest surgery that I can get into for my spine, because he is one of the best doctors, he's one of the 2 doctors in the country, the 2 best that do this, is in February. So February of next year I will be having the surgery. So I have a while until then, and I'm just gonna wear my neck brace as I need. I wear it to sleep, keeps everything more stable at night. It's just a soft brace. For the surgery, the surgery itself, I'll be in the hospital for 2 days if all goes well. Hopefully just 2 days. And then I will be wearing a special hard collar for 4 weeks after that. And the recovery time for the average patient is 6 weeks. I recover so slow, as do most EDS patients. So I probably am going to double that. So at least 12 weeks of initial recovery. I know that most people that I talk to that have had this done take many, 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 many months to recover, and some of them are still having issues forever down the road, and others are feeling so much better right afterward. Everybody's different. So who knows? Hopefully it will be good in time for my wedding, which is next June. And so hopefully all that will be taken care of. Anyway, so that was my really long talk on C1-C2 instability, and I hope that all made sense. And I'm sorry it was so lengthy. Just a lot of information I wanted to get in there, and I'm hurting, and so I'm rambling, and yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get back to my heating pad and laying down, and then putting some ice on my arm again. And I have no idea what we're going to do to fix my arm. We kind of are at that was our last resort for the shots, and he has no idea what to do now. So I don't know either. But I hope you guys are well, and hopefully I will be able to do another post soon. And you guys make my life so much better. So thank you, friends, family, everyone who is so supportive, and all my fellow EDSers and POTSIs, and everybody out there for leaving me such nice comments and emails, and just showing your support. And also thank you to the neck surgery group for being so awesome and helpful. And I will talk with you guys again when I am feeling up to it. Have a great day and enjoy your autumn. It's my favorite time of the year.